Hello everyone, welcome to my lecture on the topic Joint Stock Company and Cooperative Society. To begin with, Joint Stock Company. In the previous sessions, we have learned about the sole trading concerns as well as the partnership concerns and also learned about their respective advantages and disadvantages. Now, taking into consideration the disadvantages of a sole trader and partnership form of business organization gave birth to joint stock form of organizations. And a joint stock company is an association of many persons who contribute capital and share profits accordingly. A joint stock is an organization where people pool their capital to form a business with a common objective or goal. This type of a company is suitable for a large-scale projects which requires huge investments and where one person cannot afford the entire cost. Now here the total capital is divided into shares of certain value and issued for the general public subscription. The radical changes in the field of production, distribution and goods and services initiated large amount of capital and managerial skills. A company and organization filled this gap. The company joint stock organization filled this gap perfectly. If it is a private limited company, there is a minimum number of 2 members and a maximum 50 members. And if it is a public limited company, minimum composition of members is 7 and the maximum is unlimited members in order to form a joint stock company. Now, the definition of a joint stock company given by James Stephenson: a joint stock company is an association of many persons who contribute money and money's worth to a common stock and employ it in some business and who share the profits and losses arising therefrom. And another definition also given by Hele Chani. And after that, we are going to look into these features of a joint stock company. The first feature being it is a voluntary or association of a persons, that is a mutual understanding or a like-minded people coming together or joining together in order to conduct a business on certain terms and conditions which are acceptable to them. Second one is it has a separate legal entity. That is it is a separate legal entity is nothing but a company can own a property on its name and also file or defend a lawsuits if anything arises of that sort, and it is considered as an artificial person created by the law or in the eyes of law. Limited liability is one of the important feature of a joint stock company, that is liability of the shareholders restricted to the share value only. That is, if a person is owning a shares up to the extent of 1,000 rupees in a particular company, for example, if he is already paid to the tune of 700 rupees, his liability will be only to the extent of the remaining amount what he is supposed to pay, that is 300 rupees only, not anything beyond that. That is what we mean by limited liability. Common seal. Common seal, being an artificial person, it cannot sign. So the law requires a separate seal to affix on important documents. Transferability of the shares. Shareholders can transfer, sell or can gift their shares to anyone whom they like. There is no restrictions imposed in this case. They are free to transfer their shares on anybody's name or to anyone. Perpetual existence. The company has a permanent existence and a company enjoys a continuous existence, that is a death, lunacy, insolvency or a retirement of a member do not affect the life of the company. And publication of accounts. It is a mandatory or it's an obligation on the part of the joint stock companies to publish their annual accounts at the end of the financial year. The few advantages of a joint stock company, that is, a large resources can be accumulated, continued business will be there, efficient managers can be appointed because they will have a large resources at their disposal. Economies of large scale production will be there, diversification of risk is possible, democratic setup will be there because the shareholders have voting rights. Disadvantages: it requires so many legal formalities in order to bring the joint stock company into existence. Evils of factor system like air pollution, water pollution, congestion and insanitization will be there, and lack of secrecy will be there because it is mandatory on the part of the joint stock company to disclose its financial reports in the meetings or to the stakeholders, and it also should be discussed among the board of directors in the meeting. Concentration of economic power will be there in fewer hands, so it may lead to certain exploitation, delay in decision making, excessive state regulations will be there. Now coming to the next concept, that is the next form of a private organization after this joint stock company is a cooperative society. The Industrial Revolution created several imbalances between rich and the poor. The rich exploited the haves and have-nots in terms of long hours of work, low wages, bad working conditions, etc. Weaker sections suffered so badly and compelled to form cooperatives to help each other and better their economic conditions. Now, these particular instances have given rise to the formation of a cooperative society. And put together, a cooperative society is a voluntary association of people who come together to pursue their economic, social and cultural goals. They are based on the principles of mutual help and welfare and are often made up of workers and small producers. These are the listed out features of a cooperative societies. This is also a voluntary association of person, separate legal entity, that is, they are supposed to be registered under the Cooperative Societies Act. Registration is compulsory, membership open to all. Can sell shares and raise finance. One man, one vote system. Its main service objective to serve the poorer section of the people. Shares cannot be transferred is a limitation or it's a disadvantage. So advantages here are equal distribution of profits, equal voting rights, limited liability, no speculation because shares will be offered at face value. Government support will be there, each for all and all for each is a main slogan here. Less taxes and subsidies will be provided to the cooperative societies in order to motivate them or in order to encourage them in providing these services to the weaker section people with less income group people, otherwise can be also be said. So disadvantages will be shortage of funds because people from limited means join this society. Failures will be more because of lack of trained managers. It suffers from inefficient management. And misuse of funds are very common. Lack of proper managing leads to misuse of funds, which is commonly prevalent in the cooperative societies. The next concept here is public enterprises, government companies. Public enterprises means the enterprise that is controlled by the government. The main aim of these enterprises is to quicken the pace of economic development and strengthening basic industries like defense requirement, public utilities and infrastructures, etc. The business unit owned, managed and controlled by the central, state and local government are termed as public sector enterprises or public enterprise or public sector undertakings. It can also be defined as any commercial or industrial undertaking owned and managed by the government with a view to maximize social welfare and uphold the public interest. The very best examples of these public enterprises are banks, Life Insurance Corporation of India, HMT, etc. Public enterprises include heavy capital investments. It aims at creating employment opportunities, reduce disparities between haves and have-nots, and also aimed at balanced regional development, raising standard of living of the people. The company will have the same features like these companies will have the same features like a joint stock company, but more than 50% of the shares will be held by the government and directors will be appointed by the government. The next concept is regarding joint ventures. Joint ventures is also called as a public-private enterprise. Public-private enterprise, since it is a partnership between the government and the private sector. Owns and control the business Next one is they coexist and contributes to the economic growth of a nation. Private entrepreneurs look into the day-to-day management of the business. Private entrepreneurs look into day-to-day activities and board of directors will be the representatives appointed by the government. The examples here are Maruti Udyog Limited, Steel Authority of India, and Hindustan Aeronautical Limited are the few examples of the joint ventures or the joint sector undertakings. With this, I'm closing the session here. Thank you.